My heart goes out to anyone that is currently struggling financially. It's so hard, and you feel like such a failure. But you're not. You're not. We're living in the most ridiculous times where it's so expensive to just stay alive. There's so many that just are so fucking greedy. And they're like, I need more money. And like you, and you can barely pay your bills. I'm just like, I'm in way more financial detriment than I thought I was. And I'm trying to figure out how to solve it. I'm not looking for any sympathy. I'm just looking to connect with those that are resonating with this burden that we have to carry. How hard we work, how much we just try and give and giving.
All right. First off, let me say I do sympathize with her because we are living in hard economical times. You can't go to the grocery store, the gas station. Anytime I step out the house, I'm spending $100 automatically, especially with the family. So, but what I don't understand is why press record, get on camera, and cry. Like, how many takes did it take for you to get this takeout? I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not being sympathetic enough, but I think reserving sharing your personal problems or issues online, obviously there can be some benefit from it. You can relate to others, but more often than not, people are going to laugh at your pain. People want to see you fail. So it's like you're not really benefiting much. I guess you can get TikTok fame, maybe go viral, maybe you monetize your tears, but for me, I think there's more productive ways to go about it if you really having financial hardship. So for me, like I grew up hard, like in homeless shelters. I've been homeless. So there's absolutely a solution and an answer. We live in a society where everybody's shooting down, I guess, the idea of capitalism, right? But we have the freedom to pretty much do whatever we want, like with limitations. Let's be honest. There's some limitations, but we live in a free society where you could be a 5-year-old YouTuber making millions of dollars, and I don't necessarily know her financial situation, but for me, the first thing I notice is like, why get on here crying? Um, Again, maybe that's just the way you express yourself, but let's go ahead and see what else she has to say.
I had to move out when I split up with my partner, and I moved into this new apartment, and it was more expensive than I really knew I could pay, but it was kind of my only option because I don't have a car and I need to be centrally located to places where I can get groceries, etc.
One question I do ask though, like where is she located? Because sometimes, like if you're living on the East Coast, like New York, somewhere where I guess you don't need a car and they have public transportation that's convenient, sometimes that's a cost savings. A car, it can actually be an expense, especially right now. Even used and new car pricing is ridiculous, especially if you don't have good credit. So, I'm assuming she's somewhere where she probably requires a car, but there's actually there should be some public transportation, depending where she's located. So sometimes that's an alternative until you can stack up enough money to save for a vehicle. But I'd be really curious to hear what she does for work and a little more about her financial situation.
It doesn't matter. The details don't matter. But I had the first couple months free, which was really nice. And I just paid yesterday, and I'm like, there's so many bills coming at me. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pay this. But it's all going to work out. I just need to take some time and space to.
Okay. So one thing I could say is a lot of times is you have a lot of unnecessary expenses in your life, and it's also lifestyle. don't get me wrong, like inflation, the cost of living is extremely high. But there's also, I think we live in a consumerist society where most people are taught to be consumers. You're taking on bad debt. So it's usually a series of poor financial decisions that usually put you in this predicament. There are exceptions where people may come on hard times, and I get that. I completely get that. But from my experience, a lot of times when you mitigate risk and you make sound decisions and you let those compound over time, it usually helps out financially. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions is in order for you to invest, you have to be wealthy. That is farthest from the truth. You know, you could even start with just minimal incremental investments to put yourself in a better predicament. It may not save her right now, but it definitely making sound decisions and changing your perspective in life. Because don't get me wrong, it's not about how much you make, it's about your savings rate. So again, we are stuck in a consumerist ideology where we think we need unnecessary things and we're spending so much time and effort, energy and money on things that really don't move the needle. So for me, I think it's more important for her to look within, right? So she said she's separated from her partner. Obviously, it's hard coming from one income. I mean, from two incomes going to one income. And then she's getting grace because obviously, I mean, how often do you see? She mentioned, she said she has a couple of months free of rent. Take advantage of that. That's an opportune time. You don't have any car notes. So, what either, get a side, pick up a side hustle, something you can do maybe on the side, remote work from home, or like I said, really budget these next few months because you got free rent. That's one of your largest expenses is rent. So being able to have 3 months of free rent, let's assume the average rent is say $1,800. That's $1,800 a month you're able to retain that you were paying before. So that could get you a boost or a head start to start an emergency fund or slowly but surely start investing some of that money. But a lot of times people don't want to hear solutions. They want to get on here and have other people sympathize with their pain. So for me, it doesn't work, but let's just go ahead and hear her out.
Figure it all out. So I'm sending love and support. If you're also moving through some financial hardships or health hardships or whatever it is, we need community and we're in this together, okay? Okay. Yay, 4th of July. My heart.
Well, happy 4th of July. So again, I think there's nothing wrong with having community, but I think misery loves company. So if you're in a situation, you need to be very careful in particular of the community you have. And sometimes that's our detriment is socializing and being around the wrong audience or the wrong crowd. If you're around 9 bums, you're going to be the 10th. If you're around 9 successful people, the likelihood of you being the 10th is drastically increased. So, putting yourself in the right social circles. Not only that, what are you consuming? What is your mind consuming? Look into financial literacy books. There's podcasts. There's so much. There's like a overwhelming abundance of information nowadays. Like literally, people are lazy, dude. Like you have to take your time to go out there and do the research. Don't get me wrong, but it's readily available. It's at the access of your fingertips. Everybody has a smartphone, poor or not. You're recording on the phone now or some type of device. So at some point, you got to take accountability for your own well-being. And I'm not the type of person, like, don't get me wrong. I came from a very hard upbringing, but I control my outcome. I control my future. So I do wish well on this lady. Hopefully that she finds better days, and that can come if she's willing to do the work. But I'll go ahead and leave a link to her bio on her TikTok. Thank you for your time.